Alright, so this will be a feedback slash critique for Asian Zach, aka Wumbo. You forgot to set it to Wumbo. I love the fucking SpongeBob episode. Okay, so you know the drill. I'm still just gonna do it. You might know me as Shazam on the Discords. I like Paul, and I like playing Tekken. And I mean, Tekken Online's fucking dog shit, but whatever. I am by no means a professional at this game, right? I'm someone who just goes, hey, I played a lot of Paul, played against a lot of Paul, watched a lot of Paul footage, and just Tekken in general. And based on my experiences, here is what I'm noticing in your gameplay. And here is what I think you can improve on. Here's what I think you were doing well. Here's what I think could be other options. It is by no means gospel, and it should be taken with a grain of salt, but taken into consideration. I'm just hoping to provide other avenues of thought so you can take a look at your own gameplay and go, okay, yeah, I should try this, or no, I don't try this, and here's why. Right? And you're fighting Frontier. I wonder if it's the same Frontier. The previous owner of Paul Cord was Frontier. Never talked to the guy much, but he's always seemed really chill. I hope he's doing well. So, variety of characters. I'll probably be focusing on the Steve and Miguel matches. The Horing match, I don't fucking know the matchup. I really should. If he's in Tekken 8, I promised myself, future me will learn the matchup, I swear. I'm not gonna talk about the Horing match. I don't think I know enough to really give a detail. I'll watch it, and if something comes up, I'll talk about it. But I'm pretty sure you're in the Paul Discord. So I'm just gonna send you a link to the thread where it's just a breakdown by Maxwell and then someone else, and it's just literally like, here's all this anti-Horing tech. Go ham. Be free, my child. But for now, let's talk about these matches. Let me set up. Alright, let me set this up. Alright. Okay, so an aspect that I think you do really well is that you have a lot of... Ooh, I mean, right as I say that, you get counter hit, right? But you have really good chip. Really good chip damage, right? In the sense of, like, you're constantly chipping. Your small Tekken's pretty strong, right? A lot of jabs, a lot of down back fours, and constantly making the opponent second guess their offense, disrupting them. They never really feel comfortable challenging you too much, right? However, I think an aspect that needs work on is you need to take a bit more risks, right? 1-2 is like 20 damage, and then down back 4 is like 7 damage. But the issue is, like, okay, you're doing like if you do like 3 down back 4s, that equals to slightly more than 1 core circle forward 3 or 1 sidestep 3, or even just 2 down back 4s. Yes, you're more likely to hit them, but it's less than like 1 back 4, or yeah. Sidestep 3, 17 damage. Yeah, so to get 1 sidestep 3 or 1 core circle forward 3, you need like 3. You need 4, or you need 3 down back 4s, right? Which you get a lot, right? It's not like you're not missing that much damage, but you're not piling up the damage as fast as you could be, right? Frontier is able to play a relatively comfortable game. They're not feeling any pressure from your chip damage. And that's where I think you're not maximizing your reward enough. Obviously, in situations like Steve, who has a pretty good punish, like, he's not launching Corsical 4-3 or Sidestep 3, but, Sonic Fang hurts. And then later on in the Miguel matchup, Miguel is launching Corsical 4-3. So I can understand the hesitation, but something you need to analyze in your gameplay is like, okay, with all of these down back 4s, when can I really just chase down my opponent and just do Corsical forward 3 and get a little bit more damage and make your work a little bit easier? Or sidestep 3, right? Sidestep 3 gives you the damage and gives you a lot of frame advantage, so then you can safely challenge with down forward 1 for the most part, right? You can safely do things you aren't able to, and that can also help build up a lot of momentum and can make your opponent frustrated because they're, eating a shit ton of damage from all these lows. And if you get a counter hit sidestep 3, bruh, right? I legit think Paul's lows are some of the best in the game. Maybe not like top 10, but definitely like, I want to say top 20, top 25. I don't know. In a game with 10,000 moves, his lows rank up there pretty highly. And I think you need to be increasing the variety in your low usage a bit more, right? You're on one end of the spectrum that you're playing a little too bit compact, right? You need to give yourself a bit more breathing room, take a little bit more risk, because the reward is what's important here, right? Too many people focus on the reward, but here I think it's necessary because you're simply not doing enough your lows should be supplementing your game plan of forcing mistake out of the opponent to get a punish opportunity or a counter hit. But your lows aren't doing enough damage where I'm getting the impression that Frontier is feeling the heat or panicking at any point in the round, right? And part of it could be that they're just like they're just a solid player, right? They just don't mind the pressure. They work well under pressure. But I think even the most solid player they'll crack eventually. Like look at how Anakin uses down back 1 with Jack, right? Obviously, down back 1 is a world of difference from core circle forward 3 and down back 4 in Paul's lows, right? He doesn't have anything close. But the idea is that you're using this low that's just 15 damage, right? But it adds up a lot, right? And that's a core issue I'm noticing a lot in any of these matches, right? Whether it's Miguel, whether it's Haring, whether it's Steve. I wanted to get that out of the way before I lose my thoughts rambling about whatever else, but let's keep going. I think that's more negative than it is. That's another thing, right? Is I feel like your movement is very linear. Against Miguel, I can understand it. He's got a shitload of homing moves. At least I see a shitload of moves from Miguel that have the homing sparks, right? So I can understand it. Here, right, and then I'm gonna go back in the very first round, and I'll talk about, because there's something in the very first round that I saw that I want to talk about. But like here, what's preventing you from sidestepping right and forcing something out of Steve? Steve doesn't have homing down forward 2 anymore, right? And I think he has a homing move. He's got duck forward 2 or something. Duck down 2. Right? He has a homing move that like power crush, not power, Sabaki. The annoying Sabaki move, right? But it's like, okay, so there's counterplay there, right? Basically, I'm not going to ramble on this too much. Sidestep more, right? Get yourself, you need to disalign yourself from the wall so that this doesn't happen, right? This just running and throwing you. So that doesn't happen. Right? And if you get a stray hit, hopefully it becomes a sidewall hit, so then you can avoid that. But then also, you need to force the Steve to use something. Okay, I've talked about this in a previous video, but I'm going to mention here. Movement is just as much of a part of your game plan and conditioning kit as any other move in your toolkit is. Right? When you sidestep, you are eliciting a response from the opponent. Yes, sometimes there are inherent risks, right? Like Steve has a lot of counter hit launchers. If you sidestep at the wrong time, maybe you'll get counter hit. I actually don't know if you can sidestep the startup of a counter hit, or if you can counter hit the startup of a sidestep. But you need to elicit the response from the opponent, especially against a character like Steve, whose homing moves are restricted to stances, right? If Steve is standing, what homing move is he going to use that'll knock you out? He has tracking options, right? But they're tracking, right? They are not consistently homing. And I don't think he has a move that tracks to both sides, right? You know those fake homing moves like Paul Corsical forward 3? I don't know if Steve has any of those. Right? So you need to force him to use options that don't necessarily line up with his game plan, right? You force him to use the more awkward moves that have a bit more counterplay. Like if he goes into duck and does the homing thing, you can duck that and punish or something, right? So forcing him to use more awkward moves than just letting him, jab in front of you into flicker stance, into throws, and all this other annoying shit. In addition to disaligning yourself from the wall, right? So Utilizing movement to condition a response out of your opponent, just as you would with moves, just as you would with dash blocking, right? You use dash blocks pretty effectively, right? Like, you do a lot of dash blocking to throws, stuff like that. So, sidestep. It's very important. Another thing to consider is, I think it's here. Oh, I lost my place too. Ooh, awkward. Oh, whatever. I'll just start. So right here, like, you're basically just backdashing yourself into the wall, right? You're... was that 10 seconds? Yeah. 10 seconds of uninterrupted, nigh uninterrupted offense from the Steve, and you're just you're just backdashing, or you're just challenging at the wrong time, which is unfortunate, but whatever. It's like, why? Here, why not do down back 4? Why not do core circle forward 3, right? Why, like, I mean, he just did a mid, so it's like, yeah, but, you know, down back 4 at least, right? Here, why not? I mean, I guess you are challenging. You're trying to challenge with jabs. It's just unfortunate timing. But it's only until you've already gotten yourself to the wall that you are, you know, suddenly being like, oh, I should sidestep here. So that's another thing to consider, of just situations where you're, you know, you're being passive, which is not a bad thing. Like, you know, but when you're so passive to the point, the opponent can basically, nearly with just movement alone, is pushing into the wall. It's kind of like, maybe experiment with how you want to challenge him, right? Sometimes it's going to be throw, sometimes it's going to be a low, sometimes it's just going to be a sidestep. But you know, challenging him a bit more on his approach, right? Even though it's Steve, who does have back 1, who does have, I think he's got a good high crush, even though he's got down 2, which is annoying, right? His approach shouldn't be as easy as it is. And this comes up a lot later when he does, like, his slash kick, which is his running punch or some shit. Like, he should not be able to just do that on you as willy-nilly or as free as he is. He only does it a few times, but, like, he should be wary that, like, oh shit, what if he sidesteps at this point, right? I lost my place. How do I get back? I think it's this match. Whatever. I'll just watch from here. Not gonna talk about well, actually, let me just double check. I'm not gonna talk about punishment specific opportunities too much, right? But this one here, this is a launch, right? Back 3 launches Steve here. In a situation like back 3, when it comes up, I do want to point out those opportunities, right? So obviously it's rare. I think this is like the only time he does it in the sets that he's playing Steve, or that they're playing Steve. But it's like, those are huge opportunities. A character that's normally so safe as Steve would technically still be safe, right? But Paul, in this situation, normally in a lot of other minus 14 situations, he doesn't really get it. He gets a launch punish, right? Very vital to have those on point. I mean, here it's kind of like whatever. I think he would have. No, he wouldn't have. I don't think he would have died from back 1-2. I don't think he would, right? I think you still get the round anyway. Oh shit, maybe not. Oh yeah, you got it. Nice. Okay. But again, right? You let your opponent get an opportunity they wouldn't have otherwise gotten. I'm not gonna harp on it too much. It's just burn those into your brain of like, I see up forward 2, fucking back 3, right? I guess it's very active. Like, it could technically be minus 11, but it's like, when you're up close, like, if you're waking up blocking into it, maybe, but like when you just run up and dash up into it and he blocks it, like, I'm pretty sure it was a back 3 situation. Let's keep going. So what exactly was the purpose here, right? What exactly I guess Frontier was using a lot of like sway or is it albatross? I can't remember. I think it's his sway moves, right? Like he's doing a lot of that in the early rounds, but like, why all of that into up back two? What was the reasoning behind it? I guess part of it maybe it was because like he did dash in afterwards. So maybe it was like a keep out, a preemptive keep out, like it was a call out. It's not like you got hugely punished for it. I just think you could be doing more, right? Like right here in this situation, if he's not ducking after like the third 1, 2, 3, if he's not ducking after that and he's just doing, backdashing, right? Like maybe dash up, Corsical forward 3, right? Or when he dashes up after. Do you have enough time? No, I don't think you have enough time. I mean, he does sidestep, so maybe you do, right? But again, like if he's not ducking after all those, it's like, all right, well, you're not ducking. I'm not gonna stop. All right. So just Corsical forward 3, sidestep 3. Some a bit more lows there. I think I'm starting to slur my words. Maybe I'm tired. Should go to sleep. Huh. Nice. Your wall conversions are really good. I think a lot of times when you would have like an awkward conversion, I just autopilot into demo man. Your wall conversion and stage awareness is really strong. Really strong. Good disruption. So this is another thing, right? This is the awkward part of like, okay, so you can get a quick disruption, but now Frontier has rage, right? And I mean, Blue Sonic Fang is not RA cancel from Paul, but it's pretty damn close. And at this stage, he's gonna die, or you'll die if he hits that, right? So I don't know if the poke was like an autopilot thing, right? But he's not dashing in at you, is he? He is dashing in at you. He goes for the low. Okay, I don't know. So here in this situation, right, if you expect him to dash in and jab or something, why not commit to like a harder read? Why not commit to wall standing 2, hop kick, wall standing 3-2 at the very least, right? Because now for 7 damage, you just gave Steve rage, right? Was the trade-off really worth it? Because now you're fighting for your life on every single interaction versus just the previous situation of like, maybe he'll go for a big move here and there, but you're not as scared of it as like a counter hit launcher, right? Without rage, you're just worried about like, oh, I don't want to necessarily what's the word? I don't want to necessarily mash buttons because you'll get counter hit. But now that Steve has rage, you have to worry about your punishment because he blocks a low, he can get Blue Sonic Fang, I'm pretty sure, right? Now you have to worry about whiffing a button because down forward 2, you can't just whiff in his face to like bait a response, right? It's going to be impossible to whiff Corsical back for it, right? Like you see the odds are super stacked against you. All of this for 7 damage. Right? Like it's not the end of the world, right? Playing patiently, you can still control the pace of the match. Like it's hard for him to crack you without really overextending, and you're not someone who overextends. But it's just kind of like, again, the situation of maybe take a bit more risk so you don't have to work as hard. Because at least if you got like wall standing 3-2, because the rage threshold is 41 damage, right? So if he's getting rage off of this, you can, if you did wall standing 3-2, if you did wall standing 4, now you only have 30 damage to chip away, right? Or if you did wall standing 3-2, you would have 10 damage maybe. Much easier to deal with, much easier to one poke leading to death versus the uphill battle you kind of have going on here. Right as I say that, no fear, just whiff down forward 2. No fear. Now it's anyone's game. Man, I don't know if no, I would be terrified of whiffing buttons. Because, like, Blue Sonic, like, anyone, because, you know, the opponent is amped up, and maybe it could work against it, like, maybe their nerves will hit them, but, like, if they're amped up, they got the adrenaline going, like, any whiff, and just boom, Sonic Fang. No fucking fear, I love it. Oh, nice. Yeah, so you handled that pretty well. I still think my point still stands, but it's whatever. It worked out. Good disruption. Nice. Oh, so yeah, so on the opponent's wake up when they tech roll, you do down forward 4 a lot, and I'm wondering why. So why not use forward 1+2? Is it a tracking thing? Is it just down forward 4 track? Like does it follow their tech roll? What's going on there? All right, why use that move as opposed to Hammer of the Gods? Given the in my opinion, much more beneficial situation on block, right? Another thing, because you use down forward 4 so much on their wake up, I'm also wondering, like, if you're gonna down forward 4, why not do core circle back 4, right? Your execution is clean enough where I'm pretty sure your core circle back 4 will come out at its fastest speed, which is like what, 18 frames, 18 to 19, not that much slower than 17 frames. Yeah, so like 17 to 18 frames faster than down forward 4, right? Homing, right? And every down forward 4 that you do on their tech roll, they're blocking, right? So if they're blocking it, that means, yeah, I mean, -1 is not the end of the world to be left at, but it's like, well, if you're gonna do something that leaves you at that, why not do something that leaves you plus to maybe continue offense or something, right? Doing down the core circle back 4 into throw, right? Just a little bit more safety. You know, food for thought. I'm interested to hear why you want to use course or down forward 4 so much. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just curious. All right. Although I'm in favor of forward 1+2 more, but yeah. Right. So another situation of like, okay, you're playing it safe, you're not overextending, you're using a lot of your pokes and stuff, but it's like, was this trade-off, I mean, you have a lot of health to play with, but was this trade-off really worth it? Imagine if this was Paul, right? I mean, it basically is. Blue Sonic Fang is like very close to it. It is not the same level as Rage Art Cancel, right? Let's get that. However, in terms of a comeback factor, it's very similar, right? It does a pretty good impression. Was this trade-off worth it? Actually, how much damage does 3 do? $14 damage. Actually, that's pretty good. It's pretty good, but was it worth it, right? I don't know. I don't know. So what could you be doing here, right? Like if you're doing a mid and then 3 versus core circle back 2. Core circle back 2 is like the same speed as a core circle back 4. That's so funny. So if you're doing a mid at that point, and again, Frontier hasn't done the sway a lot. He hasn't sidestepped a lot. He's just dashing in back and forth and dashing into 3, which is a pretty linear move, right? Why not do core circle back 2 in that situation, right? Both moves are going to leave you pretty minus, like you're not going to move forward, but both of them have such good vertical range, it's kind of like whatever. And with core circle back 2, you have the advantage of like, if he's not holding back, right? Are they usually holding back? Yes. But if he's not, he's dead, right? Like there's even non-clean hit, there's no way he's surviving, dash up, down, back 2, right? So again, something to consider of like, if you're doing this, why not go for the more rewarding option? Especially like, yeah, it's like slightly slower, I guess, I understand, but like he's not really approaching with moves, right? He's just dashing back and forth, right? And he has to constantly be wary of, if he approaches with a move and you decide to do core circle forward 3, he's dead, right? He doesn't have any move that's gonna reach unless he can do like instant wall running 2 or whatever Steve's wall running / kick is, right? Unless he can do that, he doesn't have a move that will reach in time to avoid the counter hit from core circle forward 3. Okay. So, food for thought, right? Again, what you are doing is not necessarily a terrible option. I'm just kind of like, hey, why not try this option? You are a brave man. Oh! Where does I say that? Tragedy. Oh, he drops it. Oh no! Bye-bye. Yeah, right? So, I don't know. It happens. See, like, he's not feeling any fear, right? Like, yeah, you are annoying him, but you're not disrupting him enough where Frontier's, like, second-guessing his offense or trying to adjust his game plan as a result of you doing all these down back 4s, right? He's kind of like, all right, I mean, I ate down back 4, whatever, I'm just going to keep chipping you down. He hits you, like, once or twice, and he's not exactly at the same health, but he's catching up, right? So the damage is just not working out in your favor. And this isn't easy. I mean, oh, nice. Like that chip damage was good. It's not easy utilizing a move that has like a stance to it, a full ass like 3 inputs. That is a thing that you have to worry about, right? It is much simpler and a lot easier to utilize down back 4 and get a bunch of damage off of that than core circle forward 3, right? But if the opponent is not discouraged and not really adjusting to you using those lows, there are some situations where you're going to need to sprinkle. You need to take that risk a bit more. Sprinkle in those core circle forward 3s or sidestep 3s or whatever and get that damage going, right? Otherwise, it's very easy for Steve to catch up, right? Like, he lost some tools, but the man still hits like a truck. Especially if, he gets those annoying, like, perfect combos of he hits mid-stage and he gets you to the wall and he does the massage at the fucking wall, which always does a shitload of damage. Fuck. Right. You gotta be mindful of, yes, you are playing compact, you're playing it safe, but are you you're winning the battles here and there, but are you gonna win the war, right? Nice. I did not think that would clean it. Okay, so like right here, so this was solid, right? Like, I love it that it's not the throw that kills him, it's the wall splat. I love it when that happens. I don't know, it's really funny. It's really funny to me. It's just like, oh yeah, the 1 point of damage from the wall was enough to kill. So like right here, why not do core circle back 4? Right? Keep him locked down a bit more. Actually, I don't know. I think what you did was fine, actually. I don't know. I think it was fine. He wasn't ready for it. I think what you did was fine. I just think it's like use core circle back 4 more. I don't know. All right. Well played. Let's watch the Miguel round. There was a specific Miguel round. Was that at 22 minutes? Yeah, I think this was the round where I'm like, I remember I wanted to talk about it. That's from the start. All right. So he switches to Miguel. All right. And right here, why are you approaching? It's not the. Actually, no. This is fine. We'll talk about it. I think there was another situation I want to talk about. This is fine so far. Okay, so this goes back into like. This is where I want to talk about, like, why not core circle back 4, right? In all your games, has Frontier ever tech rolled into something that I will either get counter hit by down forward 4 or just duck, like at all, right? I feel like at this point you've conditioned him enough where if he tech rolls to get away from the wall, he's gonna tech roll standing up, right? And so if you do quarter circle back 4, you're left in a much more favorable situation than doing down forward 4, right? Even just doing even especially here, assuming he's not, I know online you can both be player 1 technically, assuming he's not player 1, right? Assuming he is player 2 in this situation, like in controller, not just like on the screen. Doing forward 1+2 here completely locks him down, right? He can only sidestep into the wall, which is heavily favored for you. He's force crouch, you're +3. The situation is just so much more in your favor, right? In this situation, in this particular situation, where if the opponent doing sidestep right pushes them into the wall, I have no reason to see any advantage that down forward 4 offers, right? So in these types of situations, highly stress forward 1+2. Press it, lock them down, and keep them locked, right? Forward 1+2 is its own mind game. And then here, quarter circle back 4, assuming he presses anything or tries to step or do something, if you hit him, the knockdown situation from quarter circle back 4 might very well lead to like a wall splat, maybe a side slat more than likely, but it'll likely peel off and then you can go for a combo, right? So something is like maximize your stage positioning on Oki, right? And then I would also argue that you should just be doing, forward, forward dash to track the tech roll and then or sidestep with them to track their tech roll and do demo man, right? This is like your 10th down forward 4. He hasn't blocked low once, so demo man him, right? Make him remember why you need to duck against Paul at the wall at least. So like right here, you advance forward safely with 1-2, right? Very good poking, decent approach. Why not do quarter circle back 4, right? If he presses anything, if he tries to move at all, he'll get wall splat, right? With the condition that he's in, it might not be like the cleanest. Let's take a look at the distance, right? Right here, you forward dash into 1-2. He's just holding back. He's not trying to sidestep. He's not trying to do anything. In this situation, if you do quarter circle back 4, right, you're left in a more advantageous position. If he tries to move or if he tries to challenge you, he's gonna get wall splat. And at this range, I'm pretty sure it'll be a clean wall splat, right? If he tries to, press anything, he'll likely get counter hit. His only action is very similar to the action that he would take against jabs, right? He has to duck. So if the opponent's answer to your option is the same for both options, right, and he's not going to do it, why not do the option that leads to more reward? I think this is like the 5th time I've talked about this. I don't mean to like make this as like, how dare you play this game this way? It's more like, hey man, here are the situations where you want to be thinking about this, right? Why are you doing this thing when you have a more rewarding option? Weigh your options and take a little bit more risk because the reward, you're still safe, right? And you're still Paul because Paul's always safe. But right here, this is where it's like the little bit more risk while still being safe, right? On block at least. But a lot more advantageous situation for yourself. God, all right. I'm also gonna gush. Season 1, bro. Season 1 quarter circle back 4. That was fucking cocaine, dude. They're backwards to the wall, and I just be pressing that button all day. +3. +3. What a time to be alive. Anyway, let's continue. Nice. Good challenge. Is Miguel's rage drive? I actually don't know what his rage drive is. That's pretty funny. Why? It's not the worst thing. That's whatever. That's fine. Nice. Ooh. I feel like that's punishable. I'm not sure. Nice low parry. I feel like the mid the hidden scrolls. I remember like Lacey getting video. The hidden scrolls. I'm pretty sure that's punishable, but I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I have no idea like Miguel's frame data. TBH. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so why commit to like trying to fight him and dash into him here? I feel like you should be again focusing on your stage positioning. Try to put yourself in a more advantageous position before he can backdash away. Look at the angle you're at, right? Before he can backdash away, keep sidestepping to realign yourself and force his back into the wall, so that when he tries to backdash from you, that his back is to the wall. You're kind of doing it, but like look at how much distance and look at how much safety he's able to cover, where instead if you just focused on pushing him, realigning with the wall, he'd have a lot less distance, right, to work with. I'm not harping on this too much. I hope I'm not like coming off as condescending or some shit, but like here I don't think it matters that much. Souk is like a fucking boxing ring. Like you'll get to the wall eventually. But on stages like Hammerhead, right? Is it Hammerhead? Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's called Hammerhead. The FF15 stage, right? That's gonna matter a lot, right? Those rectangular stages, that matters a lot. So be mindful of that. Nice break. So okay, let's talk about this, right? Why are you approaching here? Why? Excuse me, need some water. Why are you approaching here? Oh, well now you're. I mean, so you got the side switch off, which is good, but I don't know if that was the play, right? Because, now he's realigning himself. Now you're back in the whole day. Especially here, right? I don't think this is the play. Like, why? This is what I remember. This is the round I was talking about. Okay, after the side switch fails, or I guess it succeeds, right? The side switch succeeds. His back is to the wall. You're still approaching him when you should be like a fucking hawk, looking for any movement that he's going to try and get away from the wall. And that's when back one comes in. That's when course will go back four comes in. Course will go back four, especially because of the angle it goes at. If you get a hit, even normal hit, is going to be favorable towards you because Miguel's going to be knocked towards the wall, right? So like right here, this is where you need to be dash blocking, and then instead of approaching with the, like I guess like just what is your mindset here? Why are you approaching Miguel, right? When you have the life lead, and you should instead be focusing on how do I lock this motherfucker down, right? So you should be approaching at this distance of like, I think course will go back four is going to work here, and once you're in that distance, focus on when you can start, ripping those course will go back fours, like letting it rip, right? Because here, when you're just approaching, and especially when you go for like the ultimate tackle, it's like if he just hop kicked, you were most likely dead. I mean, Miguel hits like a truck, right? Maybe his hop kick damage isn't that crazy, but it's like you had the life lead, you had control of the match. You're going to rush in at a character. You do this a lot. Like you're really focused in on trying to play like this close range game where you use a lot of jabs and down back four against Miguel and Steve, characters who they flat out destroy Paul at range 0, right? Yes, Paul has demo man, he has a down forward one, he has jabs, he has tools. But pound for pound, if you have 10 interactions at range 0 against Steve or Miguel, maybe even Huarang, right? How many of those interactions is Paul really going to win? Not you as a player. As a player, any player with Paul can you can outplay the opponent, right? Like you have the tools at your disposal. But as a character, just as a character, how is Paul dominating the range 0 game against these characters? If you have 10 interactions, how many of them are you really winning, right? So with that being said, why are you approaching? Why are you approaching these characters? Especially Miguel, infamous for his T-Rex arms, right? If you keep the distance, forcing him to approach and forcing him to use awkward tools because he has to be scared of core circle forward 3, because he has to be scared of running into a random down forward 2, because he has to be scared of core circle back 4, right? Why bother approaching him? Right? So, you know, what is your game plan here? What is your end game goal? Are you really going to be able to challenge Miguel with his jabs, with his down forward 1, with his back 1, with his savage back 1? Like, all of that stuff you have to deal with. You don't have to deal with if you just stay at the range you are at, right? Like staying at this range, right? He's backdashing, so he's not going to be at range 0. He's going to be like range 1 to 2. You don't have to, you're going to have to worry, you're not going to have to worry about jabs, you're not going to have to worry about back 1, you're not going to have to worry about savage back 1, you're not going to have to worry about, like, anything really, right? So, again, take range into consideration when it comes to the matchup, and just how can you maximize your advantage? What are Paul's strengths and how can you maximize them? Can you overcome any weaknesses Paul has at range 0? Yes. Do you necessarily want to is the question, right? Why put in more work than you need to when you can force the opponent to work harder than they need to? Imagine any player who has to dash in at Paul, right? It's not like Miguel has, instant wall running 2 or some shit. I guess he's got woohoo kick or something. Is that what it's called? He's got the jumping kick, right? And that's kind of annoying. But, like, you can you challenge it at the wall. You can challenge it pretty well. Like, you have good keep out tools, right? And any move that's not his jumping kick, right? Core circle forward 3 will likely hit, if not counter hit, leading to a huge momentum swing in your favor. Where if you get counter hit core circle forward 3, he's gonna die off the next interaction, right? And it's not like you're facing Steve where you have to worry about blue sonic thing. I don't think Miguel's rage drive is that scary. At least. Actually, I mean, I shouldn't say that because I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck his rage drive is. But it's not something that I've heard about, right? I don't hear people go, holy shit, Miguel's rage drive is fucking scary, right? But, yeah, so, again, food for thought. Just putting this out there. Why... Why especially Trooper Roll, right? Like, one sidestep from Frontier, granted he hasn't sidestepped the entire match, and you're dead, right? It's not even like Trooper Roll would go sailing past him either. Like, you would just land in front of him, and then he can just, down forward 2, I think he has a down forward 2, or hop kick you. Oh no! Oh no! Wait, so how much time was the... Yeah, like you have 10 seconds left in the round, right? Just hang back. Anyway, I've harped on this too much. I don't mean to, like, again, harp on you. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, hey, why not try this out? If I sound like I'm getting crazy or getting antsy, it's just natural excitement. It's not like a, oh, I'm gonna fucking shit on this guy. It's more like just me getting excited talking about Tekken. Is that mid-high? I feel like that's mid-high. Also, that's punishable. I'm 99% sure that's punishable with back one. Oh, you gotta punish. But I'm pretty sure that's punishable with back one too, right? 90% sure. So, not gonna harp on too much. Look up a punish guide. Do your stuff if you want. But unfortunate. Nice low parry. Yeah. Ah, God, definitely. And you get like the full combo. God, Suka's so funny. So like 7 golden letters. God, all of that off death. That's why I can never stop playing Paul, just because of Deathless, man. I've like never felt a more satisfying move. If you're playing, dude, I love playing. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to gush about Deathless for a while, but like I love playing IRL with my friends because they'll just like that situation happens and they'll like, I'll Deathless them at the wall and they just jump out of their chair and oh my God, that shit is so satisfying. And now I just picture in my head, like, if I know I hit a good death fist of the wall, I know the opponent's cursing me out, right? Like, that shit's so good. Anyway, yeah, Paul's fun. So, like, right here, right? Why not do another down forward too? Fuck it, right? I mean, yeah, it's online. Paul online's a different character than he is offline, but like, why not do another down forward too, right? Why not frustrate the opponent? Because Frontier doesn't seem like someone who's easily flies off the handle, but again, it is part of that strength, right? Just do down forward two in their face. What are they gonna do about it? What is T-Rex Arms gonna do about down forward two whiffing at this range, right? Like, what is he gonna do? You need to be mind games are as much of a part of this as your character's own toolkit, right? Whiffing down forward two into down forward two, it can like yeah, it's an online tactic, I guess, but like, I mean, even offline, I feel like it's very valuable, right? Again, it's all about eliciting a response from the opponent, right? Just down forward two in their face. What the fuck are they gonna do about it, right? And then go for a third one, right? If you see them dashing and be like, all right, well, fuck it, down forward two again. What are they gonna do? Whiff punish you, right? And that's it's all about that layered mind game. You start whiffing down forward two, they start approaching you, even if they're safely approaching you, right? So let's say at this distance, Miguel tries to close it in. He doesn't overextend. He just dash blocks in, and now if you whiff down forward two, he can likely whiff punish you, right? But if he's in range to whiff punish you, he's in range for Corsical back 4, he's in range from Corsical back 2, he's in range for Corsical forward 3, right? He has to put himself at so much risk. He has to, in here, he's safe, right? You can whiff down forward 2 as much as he wants. Paul's not going to really do anything too scary. But if he feels that like, okay, well, I can't just let him just whiff down forward 2 all day because he needs to feel... Because if you're whiffing down forward 2 in his face, that'll make him second guess his approach, right? Dash blocking in, especially online against down forward 2, and he's just going to be like, well, shit, do I really want to do this, right? However, if you instead, but if you at least elicit that response from him that he is safely approaching you to try and whiff punish down forward 2, that opens up a plethora of opportunities where he's going to be able to, or he has to worry about all these other options now where he did not before when he wasn't worried about whiff punishing down. You see what I'm saying, right? You whiff down forward 2, force them to approach you because they want to whiff punish down forward 2, and now all of a sudden your whole toolkit turns online, right? Like at that range 2 to 3 where it's like they want to whiff punish down forward 2 and now they have to deal with like everything else. So, food for thought. See, like right here. Oh, he dashes in front of you. It was very quick. But yeah, dashes in front of you, and all of a sudden he has to put himself at risk. And he immediately backdashes, right? Because he doesn't want to put himself at risk. So down forward 2 again, right? Create that mind game of like, I'm going to do this until you give me a reason to stop. And when they try to go to make you stop, you go, gotcha. Of course, we'll go back 4. GG's, shake my hand. Check out my clean neutral, right? That's woohoo kick, right? That's what it's called? I don't know. Whatever. I'll look it up later. Ooh! Nice whiff punish. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? He has not been... maybe this is what you were setting up for. He hasn't ducked all day. You got sidestep 3. Now you're super plus. But like, if that was Demo Man, right? Maybe Demo Man's too risky. It is what it is. But it's like, Yeah. You know, sidestep 3. Fuck it. Or just do back 4. Sidestep 3 worked out. That was fine. Do another sidestep 3, right? He's not... If you do the first low is front... Like, okay, sorry. I'm going to, like, talk about this a lot. So you do sidestep 3, right? Is Frontier really someone who's going to immediately start ducking after eating one sidestep 3, right? It's not Hell Sweep. It's not Demo Man. So why not just do another sidestep 3? Frontier is shown to be someone who's very passive on their defense, right? They'll take measured approaches to challenge you, but they're not going to mash buttons, right? So if they're going to do that, why not take a little bit more risk and just go sidestep 3 again? Why not? Right? Nice. Ooh. One more hit. Nice. Yeah, see, so you had him locked down the entire time. So in here, I mean, you get it with down back 4, which is fine, but I think you also could have done 1-4, right? I don't think he would have expected it. And the 4 in 1-4 does, 8 damage, which is a little bit more than down back 4, right? Oh, and it high crushes. That's so interesting, huh? But it leaves you plus. I think that could be explored a bit more, right? Only -11 on block leaves you plus. Like, it's a very basic string, but I think that could be explored a bit more. But yeah, so that would have also sealed the deal. I don't think he would have expected it at all. A lot of opportunity to be gained there. I think here you force him to switch into a Horang. Yeah. Let's check out this match. I probably won't talk as much because, oh my god, I've been talking for so long. But also I don't know anything about Horang enough. Horang, I'm just lab it, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Unfortunate. Peacekeeper. 70 damage on 4 hits. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. What was it? What's that stupid move called? Backlash? Yeah, that's what it is. Ooh, that should have been. No, you tried to whiff punish. You did jabs. That should have been back 1 too, but I think that's just matchup experience. That's fine. Oh! Like right here, I think this is where the core circle 4-3 needs to come out a lot, right? Like if he's approaching you, right? Why is he? Your opponent should be scared to approach you here, right? Or if he's sidestepping like that. Oh. Nice. There's the 4-1+2. Nice. Oh, unfortunate. Yep, gotta practice that whip punch. Nice. Get him. Excellent conversion. No. Oh god. Oh god, it's happening. Oh shit. Nice. 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 Good low parry. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Backlash. Oh, so much damage. Yeah, so this is tough. I honestly I never even bother like talking about Horang matchup. I'm pretty sure you're still in Paul Court, so I'm gonna send you a link. It's the write up in the Horang channel. It's by Maxwell, who's a fucking Jin player, but he him and Hai, I think, I don't know if they still play Tekken, but they have a huge write up, and I'm just gonna send you a link there. Read it up, do what you want in the matchup. Not gonna talk about it too much. All right, neutral punishment / matchup knowledge combo / Oki personal opinion stuff. Neutral. I think your neutral is really solid. I just think you're too far. So there's a whole pendulum or sides to it, right? On one end, you have like super compact, super fundamental Tekken, like Jack with Anakin with Jack, Knee with any character he plays, right? And on the other end, you have like the wild style, like the fucking, I'm gonna press these buttons, you gotta make me stop pressing buttons, and if you don't, or if you press at the wrong time, I'm gonna kill you, right? They got like Justice, right? You got Justice, you got fucking Kaiser, who's just fucking chaos, right? I think you're too far on the fundamental side of things with too little reward, right? Paul's lows and pokes are solid, but they're not Jack, they're not, I guess Knee makes it work, right? But if you look at Knee when he's playing, he's constantly sidestepping. He's constantly forcing the opponent to be scared of sidestep 3. Always using that move. Always, right? And he's using it like a lot, like where it's nearly instant, right? Sidestep 3, super powerful. Yes, it's really slow at like 30 frames because of the whole sidestep involved. The low is still unseeable, right? You do sidestep 3, you do a sidestep, and you do sidestep 3 mixed up with any mid in existence, nobody's seeing that shit. That shit is unseeable. There's literally no tell besides the sidestep. It's very easy to get predictable with the timing, which is why people are like, oh, sidestep 3 against low parry or some shit. But it's yes, there are extra steps involved, right? It's not like Jack where you can press down back 2 and start a mind game, right? But very powerful tool, right? I need you to do counter hit, sidestep 3 into back 1-2 at the wall, into backdash shredders, resplat, and, so much damage potential. Really think that adding some more sidesteps into your neutral, your backdash is clean, right? Your lateral movement super solid. Is it lateral or longitudinal? Your vertical movement super solid. Your horizontal movement, I know it's not the right terminology, right? But whatever. Your z-axis, I don't fucking know. But your sidesteps need to be implemented into your neutral so that your opponent, so that way when you sidestep for the first time, your opponent isn't automatically just expecting sidestep 3, right? And then you got to be careful, like you don't want to use sidestep 1 a lot, right? But you want to be practicing, so practicing sidestep 1+2, sidestep 1+2. Actually, no, that doesn't work, because if you sidestep, press 1+2, you're going to get rage art. So sidestep forward 1, right? Sidestep forward 1, there's no input for that, so Paul will just get his jab, right? Yeah, sidestep forward 1, that'll be it. So sidestep forward 1, right, to get jabs, stuff like that. But again, so that your opponent was constantly on the lookout for all of Paul's tools. It's like, oh shit, he sidestepped, I have to be afraid of X move or this move or that move, right? So they should be constantly aware of it. Other aspects of neutral. Why are you approaching your opponent when you have the life lead? What is your game plan, right? I don't think it's the wrong decision, but like, what is your game plan, right? I think you're taking on a lot of risk and you need to be able to justify it, right? Do you feel confident that the advantage you're going to gain from your small pokes is enough to justify going in against and challenging Miguel and Steve at range 0, right? Is that really like justifiable? What should be going through your head? Like, what is your game plan when you approach, right? If you go in with a sense of purpose, if you go in and then actually get rewards off it, more power to you. I got nothing, right? It's not impossible for Paul to do that. I'm just saying it's like you're not playing to the character's strengths, right? Other aspects of neutral. Just playing at a farther range so you can utilize your tools like core circle, back forward, down forward 2 a bit more, right? Obviously, they're harder to utilize against characters like Steve with really strong whiff punishment, but it's like you need to be able to make your opponent scared of that. You just have to mix up your timing a bit more, but you need to make them aware of those tools and make them scared to, to sidestep, right? Punishment / matchup knowledge. Matchups I'm not really going to talk about. You can just look that up. I think you played the Steve matchup perfectly fine. I thought you played the Miguel matchup solid. I think maybe you took on more risk than you should have for not that much more reward, which is the key issue I'm seeing here. But I thought how you played that matchup was fine. Horang, no comment. I have no fucking clue. I'm just going to send you a link, read up, and do your best. Right. Maybe find someone who plays Hwoarang and have grind that matchup a bit more. But your opponent, I think you're not taking advantage of, right? Was Frontier really ever sidestepping as much as they should have been, right? Were they really sidestepping as much as they should have been? And I think you should have been taking advantage of that, right? Course will go back 2, course will go forward 3, because they weren't really ducking that often either. Forward 1+2, right? Down forward 4 at neutral, whatever, fuck it. They're not sidestepping, and you need to make them remember why they don't sidestep, right? Or why they need to be sidestepping. Every action the opponent takes leads to an unfavorable situation against Paul, right? If they're not sidestepping, if they're just standing and backdashing, right? You have all your lows, you can do dash up throw, you have power mids and stuff, right? That if they don't sidestep, they're not going to effectively answer. And once they start sidestepping, right, they have to deal with they still have to deal with course circle forward 3. They now have to deal with back 1. They now have to deal with course circle back 4. If they try to deal with any of those options, they suddenly have to deal with up back 2, right? You see what I'm saying? At every step of the game, there is not something that the opponent can do that cleanly beats Paul, right? But if they don't have to do those things, if they're not forced into those situations, they're not going to be scared. They're not going to be worried. So I think you need to be doing more to take advantage of what you notice the opponent is not doing, especially in these long sets, right? You got to start noticing habits. You got to start taking advantage of them. You have to force them into uncomfortable situations so they feel forced to lash out, which is where your punishment kit kicks in. Other aspects of punishment, maybe throw them a bit more. Force them to show that they can break throws, right? If it's Steve who's just rushing at you with all these jabs and stuff, he's not really leaving himself plus. He's leaving himself where you don't want to press too many buttons, right? But you need to, force them to show that, like, hey, I can break throws. Force them to prove it to you first, and even then, if they prove it to you, go in, right? Make them until you're with dead certainty that they're like, oh, they're gonna break all my throws. I'm not gonna bother, right? Combos / Oki. I thought your combos was rock solid. I don't think you had really good conversions, really good adjustments. I don't think anything was an issue. I just think you could have gotten a lot more opportunities by conditioning your opponent a bit more so that they fall prey to like your counter hit stuff, right? On Oki, I think you could do a bit more, right? Like I talked about it where, hey, in this situation, assuming there's no online fuckery, right? Forward 1+2 is your best friend, right? Or if you're going to be doing down forward 4 a lot, right? You want to give them, I think you should initiate first reasons to duck, right? What is their default, right? What is their default? Do they duck? Do they tech roll stand up, right? And then adjust accordingly. I don't think down forward 4 was giving you enough reward in those situations where it mattered, because the default is they're already tech rolling into stand block, right? So then you should have done demo man, another different low, or course go back 4 to maintain a favorable advantage. And then, be aware of stage positioning. Anything else on combos / Oki? Not really. Nothing that comes to mind anyway. If there's something that comes to mind, whatever. Oh, back to punishment / matchup knowledge for a second, right? Like I talked about it, I only mentioned like the Steve punishment thing. I think you got to really be aware of those launch opportunities when you can get them, because not many characters have a 14 frame standing launcher, right? And Paul's isn't exactly something to like go crazy about, right? It's no law 3+4, it's no jet upper, but it's still a 14 frame launcher, right? And when those situations come up, they drastically skew the matchup in your favor in those interactions. So just something to be aware about. Maximize the punishment. Personal opinion stuff options that I think are neat, but your mileage may vary, right? I talked a lot about it. Use more lows, use your more rewarding lows. Remind your opponents reasons why people bitch about these moves, right? Like if you don't use them as much as you should be doing, even if there's some inherent risk, right? Like, yes, technically Miguel can launch Corsical forward 3, I'm pretty sure. But it's like, okay, in that situation, just use back 4, use sidestep 3, right? Use the lows that he can't launch. But you need to squeeze a little bit more reward out of your chip damage, because you're not like, what reward are you really getting with a bunch of down back 4s, right? Typically the reward is like, oh, the opponent gets annoyed and then they have to rethink their offense because they're constantly getting disrupted, but the damage just isn't working out in your favor, right? So, stuff to think about. Other personal opinion stuff. Use forward 1+2. I think the move's busted. Use core circle back 4 and Oki. I think you should experiment with down forward 1 a lot more, right? I think you could be utilizing that for your mind games a lot more. You do a little bit of it. Like, I think your small Tekken's really good. I think if you implement down forward 1 into your small Tekken, there's a lot of layered mind games that you could be accessing that you're currently not, right? I mean, yeah, there's the basic access of like down forward 1 into backsway mix-ups, but down forward 1 can do a lot more, right? Like, you can cancel the backsway into whatever you want. You can do down forward 1, backsway, cancel with sidestep, and now your down forward 1 is +1, right? There's a lot of layers you could be adding to your small Tekken that I don't think you're adding right now. I think you're playing a solid fundamental game, but one, the reward isn't enough, and two is I think you're not creating enough mind games on your opponent's end. So experiment with that a little bit. See what you can do there. Anything else that I want to talk about? No, not really. I covered most of it. Right. I've also been talking for God knows over way too long. You know the drill. If you have any, this is by no means gospel, right? It's all just, hey, think about these things, right? Are any of these things appealing to you? Explore what these options and avenues offer you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always in the Discords. I know you're in Polkor, but this was posted in Peter's Discord, so this is probably where I'll post it. I'm usually there. Not as active as much as I want to be because of work and shit, but you know, the place is cool. I like hanging out there. So, all right, have a good one.